Hello everyone, my name is Bethany and this is my channel Bethany's Thoughts. Today my look was inspired by a certain book today. I probably be posting that on my Bookstagram next week, so you can check that out and see which book inspired this look. I'm actually quite proud of this one. I really am. I'm happy how this one turned out. As far as the video today, what I'm going to be doing is a June wrap-up to discuss all the things I did in June. And I'm not quite done with June. Think I might be able to finish 2 books tonight. We will find out. But I decided to just recap what I had so far. I was part of 2 readathons. Readathon, which I low-key did. And I didn't really post about it because the host of the readathon was not very vocal and supportive of Black Lives Matter, and I like to only support creators who are very vocal about Black Lives Matter because I think it's important, and it's important to me, so it should be really important to everyone about what's happening in our world right now. So I didn't promote that I was part of the readathon, and I actually changed my TBR for that readathon and ended up reading all the authors that I had that were of color for that readathon, and I had 3 already planned, so it worked out. And if you want to see the TBR that I originally had that describes some of these, I can link it up above. The first book that I read was A Girl Like Her by Talia Hibbert. That was about Evan and Ruth. It had great autistic representation, interracial relationship, again, author of color. I really loved this. It's part of the Ravenswood series, and it's a small town romance. I really, really liked Evan and Ruth a lot. I gave it a 4.5 star. Just really enjoyed it, and I think I named Evan as my favorite crush in my mid-year book freakout tag because I just loved him so much. He was such a cinnamon roll, and him and Ruth just really connected. There was just something I really, really loved about the 2 of them together. Definitely one of my favorite reads of the month. And I'm certainly hoping to continue with the rest of the series because I was really interested in some of the characters that were introduced in that series. Yay! The next book I ended up reading was The Idea of You by Robin Lee. I rated it a 3-star, and it was an older woman dating a boy band member. Kind of fun. It was definitely steamy. Some fade to black moments, but there was definitely some steaminess happening, but it was not a happily ever after story. Sorry, is that spoilers? Is that spoilers? No. I think if you just go on Goodreads, there's plenty of people who actually say that it wasn't a happy ever after. And I wasn't prepared for that. And I don't usually read those kind of romances. Someone in the reviews related it to it's a love story and not a romance. And I would have to agree. The ending was very abrupt. The whole time I was reading it, I just felt like, okay, I'm liking this, and I like the 2 of them, but how is this going to work out? And I didn't love it. It was just okay. The next book I ended up reading was Zenny by Rebecca Weatherspoon. This was about Zenny and Mason. I love the bisexual representation. I love that he was this big, thick guy, bigger guy, and that was all the things. I liked Zenny and Mason together. There was a little bit of sexual fluidity that happened. This is my second book from Rebecca Weatherspoon, and I rated her Rafe, which everybody loves. I'm sorry, but I rated Rafe 2 stars. I really didn't like Rafe. And I didn't love this book either. I think it's just a writing style issue. It's just not for me. I'll definitely be willing to try and read some of her more books again. I still really like Zenny and Mason together though, and I love the representation there. Then I did the Olympic Readathon, which is a readathon that was inspired by the Percy Jackson series. I am Team Apollo, so all the reads that I did were towards Team Apollo. There was 5 mandatory challenges, and I had to read 4 advanced challenges. I read all 5, and I'm still working on my advanced challenges, which I don't know if I'm going to get all of them done, but I'm certainly going to try my hardest. This was hosted by Ishii. I will link my original TBR, and that has all the things. And I'm going to go through these really quickly because I also did a wrap-up. I can link the wrap-up as well up ahead, or maybe I'll do it down in the description. So you can see some of my thoughts of my very first reading vlog. It was very exciting. So I'll go through them really quickly. The first one I did was Agnes Moore's Wild Night by Alyssa Cole. That was the title starting with the letter A. I rated it 4 stars, medieval romance between interracial, set in medieval times. I loved everything about it. Alyssa Cole is queen, Black Goth, I should say. And I loved it, but it was super, super short and I just wanted more. The next one I read was The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa, also a Black author, and I rated that 4.5 stars, between 4 and 4.5. Lena gets dumped at a wedding by the groom's brother. Several years, 2 or 3 years later, they work together, the brother and Lena, his brother named Max, and fall in love. And I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. It was clever. It was funny. I wanted a little bit more build up between the two of them. Still super enjoyed and definitely would recommend. I should say The Worst Best Man was the prompt for a book that would make you happy. Duke and I by Julia Quinn was reading an audiobook. I rated that 3.5 stars. That was for the first book in the Bridgerton series. I really enjoyed it. I wanted to read it in order to be prepared for the Netflix series that's coming out later this year. That's all I really have to say about it. It was good. It was your typical historical romance. I feel like I've read so many historical romances in my life that they all kind of sound the same to me. But it was still really cute. I still really enjoyed it. There was also in my audiobook, there was also a second epilogue that in Goodreads is separate, it's considered separate, but in the audiobook it was all consigned to one. The second epilogue I really enjoyed. That was them several years later, like 20 years later in their marriage, and that novella, and it was like novella length. It was definitely like not your typical just short epilogue. It was novella length epilogue, and I rated that 4 stars. Seeing the two of them together, seeing Simon and Daphne together again in the novella 20 years in the future was really, really sweet. The next one I read was The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. That was to fulfill my Artemis prompt. This book ended up covering 2 prompts: read a book that takes place in the wilderness and read a book that has a rescue mission. I rated that 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I was reading the reviews about it, and there's actually either hate it or they love it. I really enjoyed it. I thought that the writing style was really fresh. The fairy tales were really dark and twisted, and there was something really enjoyable at that, almost a little bit creepy. The pacing's a little bit slow, but I didn't really mind it because I think there was just touches of creepiness enough for me to get through it. And I read it really quickly and really enjoyed. Those are most of the books that I read in my wrap-up. I'll go ahead and link it now. 5th book that I read for the mandatory challenges was Ogre Enchanted, which I did not finish in my vlog. I finished that after my vlog had already been filmed and wrapped. Ogre Enchanted is by Gail Carson Levine, who writes favorite book of mine, Ella Enchanted, which I talk about this on this channel way too often. Ogre Enchanted was a prequel to Ella Enchanted. It's about Evie, who gets turned into an ogre because she refuses the proposal of her best friend, Wormy. And I rated it 5 stars. Oh my god, my first 5 stars on my booktube. It's very exciting. I don't rate very many things 5 stars. Like, there's maybe like a couple a year, if that. It was just full of nostalgia for me, being back in the Kingdom of Kyria. It was just a breath of fresh air, and Gail Carson Levine's style, and seeing all the same characters from Ella Enchanted. I didn't think it was going to be 5 stars, and the ending was really predictable, so I didn't think it was going to be 5 stars, but the ending was actually really satisfying, so I did go ahead and rate it 5 stars, and if you're a fan of Ella Enchanted at all, you should definitely be reading this. Then the next book that I had for my advanced challenges was Wallbanger by Alice Clayton. I rated that 4 stars, and I feel like that was a romance novel that I missed. For whatever reason, I never had a chance to read it. I finally read it, and that was for the advanced challenge for your most anticipated read, and I've been wanting to read this one a really, really long time. I really liked Caroline and Simon. I thought there was something really genuine between the two of them. I liked the banter between the two of them. It was funny. It was clever. I didn't really love the writing style. It was okay. I thought there was some cheap shots in the humor. And surprisingly, I thought this was going to be a lot more angsty, but it was actually kind of sweet. And they're getting together was really, really cute. So not what I entirely expected, but still really enjoyed in doing something entirely different for the rest of my reading that I did this month, because I just needed to read some steamy stuff while I was doing everything else, was Forever Theirs by Katie Robert. That was the second book of the Thalinian, whatever the series name is, royalty series. It's about a menage a trois, two males and a female. I read the first book, which was a novella. I was Theirs for the Night, and then I liked Theirs for the Night so much that I decided to check out the second book in the series, Forever Theirs. It was okay. It's kind of weak in plot. There's just a lot of steam and a lot of smut, but that's okay. I'm here for it. I really like Galen and Theo. They're the guys. I could kind of do without Meg. She kind of annoys me, but everything just kind of came together a little bit too easily at the end. But I already bought the third book in the series, so I obviously don't care. Because it's all the smut, and Katie Robert writes smut so good, so I am still here for it. And obviously that's evidenced by the next book, which I read, The Beast by Katie Robert, which is the fourth book in the Wicked Villain series. I'm obsessed with that series. It is so freaking good. I rated it 4.5 stars. It is another menage a trois between Isabel, Gaston, and Beast, and I am here for it. It was great. I really enjoyed it. Just give me all the smut and make it Disney. That's all I need in my life, apparently. Super enjoyed it. Really loved it. I'm in the middle of 2 books, and then I have one more book from a mandatory challenge, which I'm probably not going to get to, and then I'm halfway through Queen Move, which was the book that I was reading for 2 book clubs that I failed to read before the deadline. So those are so I'm going to have to finish that one up at some point, and then the 2 that I'm in the middle of right now is a novella and another novel, so hopefully I'll be able to get those done today, because it's June 30th and I gotta get my shit going. So I'll be back. And I'm back. Hello everyone. It is now July 7th as I'm filming the conclusion of this. I didn't finish the 2 books that I had planned. I finished one because it was a novella, and the other one I didn't finish. And then I decided to finish another one that I had for June. So there's 2 books that I technically finished in July, but I'm going to count them in my June TBR because I read the majority of it in June, and it was in my June TBR video. So I'm counting it for my June wrap up. So yeah, so I'm just going to do that because it's my channel, my rules. Okay. The novella I read that was still in June was Lost Sisters by Holly Black. That was a novella that it said it was 1.5. I was hoping it was going to be between Cruel Prince and Wicked King, but it wasn't. It was kind of like placed kind of during the events of Cruel Prince, which is fine. And it was from the perspective of Taryn, who is Jude's sister in Cruel Prince. Taryn's a really unlikable character, I'm not gonna lie. She's pretty awful. And I was kind of hoping the Lost Sisters would give me a little bit more because, not to give spoilers, but things happens with Taryn that is really surprising towards the end of the series. I was hoping for something more of that and did not get it. It was predominantly just focused on the first book, which was fine, but Taryn was still unlikable. It was okay. I rated it 3 stars. And my review basically just was like, Taryn still sucks. 2 books that I finished technically in July that I am counting for June. One of them was for book club and one of them was for the Olympic Games Challenge. The one for Olympic Games Challenge was for the advanced challenges, was to read the next book in a series, and I decided to read The Dark Prophecy, which is the second book in the Trials of the Apollo series by Rick Riordan. I haven't read a Rick Riordan in a long time. It was actually really nice to read this again, especially during pandemic and life and J.K. Rowling being terrible. Like, Rick Riordan, please, if you haven't read any of the Percy Jackson series or anything by Rick Riordan, do yourself a favor. They're middle grade, but they're just light and fun and really delightful, and the mythology that he puts into it is really fascinating and really cool. So yes, please do yourself a favor and read. It's been a while since I read the first book, so I had to give myself a refresher and kind of look at Goodreads and online synopses and stuff to kind of refresh my memory about what happened. And then the second book, I was kind of, the first like 50 pages, I was kind of like getting reacquainted with the world, and it was really, really good. I rated it 4 stars. I mean, it was, series books are always hard to rate when they're like in the middles, because obviously this is like a setup for the third one. It was still really good. Nothing extraordinary, because I've read Rick Riordan's his conclusions, his series conclusions are usually really, really strong. So this was not it, but this was still very good. And the next book in the series, and I'm hyped for the third one. The fourth one just recently came out, either recently came out or is coming out soon. Also super hyped for that as well. And then the last book that I read in July that I'm counting for June is Queen Move by Kennedy Ryan. I read it for Ravished by Romance Book Club and my Christina Lauren Book Club. I was obviously late to finishing it, and I missed the live show that was hosted by Jess and Lacey. I read it like as 150%. I read it like half of it, and then I put it down, and then I read the last half of it. Everyone's really loved Queen Move. When I started Queen Move, the very beginning was really slow to me, and I was like, I don't know if this is really going to be a 5-star read for me, as so many people are claiming how good it is. So by halfway mark, I was kind of underwhelmed. But I'm glad I went and finished it, because the rest of it was really, really good. I really like Ezra and Kimba. Their connection was just so strong, and steamy scenes were really great. It ended up really turning around for me. So the ending was really strong. The only thing, and I'm going to give a trigger warning. Maybe this is a spoiler. Maybe, I don't think it's a spoiler, because I'm not going to say who it happens to. But trigger warning, because it's a trigger warning for me, is that there's an accidental pregnancy, which I do not like. And I need to be warned of those all the time, just because of my personal experience and what I've gone through recently. Yeah, so I gave it 4.5. I had dock at a 0.5 star. And also I don't like accidental pregnancies as a plot device. I don't like them. Stop using them. Stop it. Again, I won't say who got pregnant, but someone does. Other than that, I think it was really, really stunning, and I really enjoyed it. I definitely made me want to. Longshot was the first book I read by Kennedy Ryan, was so intense, because it was like domestic violence and really heavy. And this was still heavy, but not nearly as heavy as Longshot was. Like I said, Longshot was super heavy, so it kind of put me off Kennedy Ryan for a little bit. But this wanted me to go back and actually try to read more of her stuff again. And that's it. That's what I'm counting for my June reads. I did not get to finish my last prompt for the advanced challenges for the Olympic Games Readathon, but I'm still pretty proud of what I did. So for the month of June, I read, that I'm counting, and I read 13 books, 9 ebooks, 2 of them physical, and 2 audio. Technically 1 audiobook, but it counts for 2 because there was a novella at the end of the audiobook. So I'm pretty stoked about that. I think that sounds pretty good. I read some really good stuff for June. I'm quite pleased. And Olympic Games Readathon was super fun. I haven't had a wrap up to know what team won, because I'm Team Apollo, but that's okay. It was still a lot of fun, and it just maybe hopefully encourages more people to read the Percy Jackson series. Seriously, if you want something that is just as good as Harry Potter, I honestly think Percy Jackson series is better. Thank you so much for watching my video. Let me know if you've read any things I've read and what you think of my reviews. Let me know if you read something that you liked this month for June. And please, if you like my video, subscribe. Link, there's good social media links, fun stuff, and there is subscribing buttons and bells and things that are fun. Please click on them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye!